Hey guys, welcome back to Nate's SuperCoach for 2024. This is the round 8 or round 7 review, round 8 team selection. Apologies for the delay. I had some work commitments through the week, was off the grid, but back now. So I'm intending to have a video up every Tuesday and Thursday from now on, so that gives you a bit more consistency, so apologies for that. Life just gets in the way. Anyway, so let's have a look at how I did in round 7. Alright, so if we go to the main screen here. Alright, round 7. So as you saw on the round 7 video, there was the Leslie Nielsen disperse, everything is fine, nothing to see, well, all sorts of chaos is going behind him. That's how it felt anyway. We had Harley Reid managed, we had Tom Stewart out with concussion, we had all sorts of players subbed, I had to trade in Garcia from the Bulldogs to avoid a donut. It was all happening. I had to field rookies on field that I really didn't want to. I wanted to upgrade but couldn't do it because of it was a pretty ordinary round in that respect. So when I come into the main screen and have a look and see I got 2,210, I mean, there's some players that'd be like, geez, I'd take that every day of the week. And you know, rightly so. It's a pretty decent score, all things considered. It was just one of those weeks where the average, the average here is, so, I mean, when I look at that, I'm 200 points above the average, essentially, but it still resulted in me dropping almost 5,000 points in the ranking. So that's what I'm disappointed with. So obviously there's some players out there whose sides are almost at full strength or maybe 2 or 3 upgrades to go. Because if 2,210 drops you by 5,000 ranking points, then you know it's time to do some trading if you want to keep your rank. Because otherwise, if I continued along just as I am, I'd be sitting on, 9,324th now. I'll be sitting probably 25,000th by the end of the year, just from the way things work, because every other team gets stronger and I'm playing catch up. So round 8, I have to do that. I thought about this when I was off grid for the week. I thought, right, I've got to do some big changes now. I've got to bring out some big guns. I've got to do that. So this is what I've gone with. Okay, so I made the trades last night. Obviously, with the delay with the video here, I can't reverse the trade, so I can't show you what I'm doing as I do it, but I'll show you what I've done. So this is the final product, and I'll talk through everything I've done. All right, so we just bring down here. All right, so what I've done is I've brought in Lachie Whitfield. Okay, I've brought in Lachie Whitfield. I've traded Brown from Richmond. His cash generation's pretty much finished or stalled, and I don't think he's going to make much more, so he's gone. Howes is going to. He's got a break even of 2 or -2, so he'll still make some money for us, which is good, and same with Graham at -6. So I'll keep them. Happy with Closey on the field. But now I've upgraded the defence spot and now Lachie Whitfield. So I could have gone with Luke Ryan, could have gone with Houston, or could have gone with Bailey Dale as well. I just thought the most stable out of them is probably Lachie Whitfield. He's done it. Maybe Luke Ryan, but just a bit more expensive. Didn't have enough for all of them, that kind of thing. But with Bailey Dale, he's 457,000 and a pretty good break even, so he's going to make money. So if you were picking Bailey Dale, you'd want to think that he's a keeper for the rest of the year, because you don't want to be burning trades, bringing in a bloke with a -43, and then you have to trade him out again. I don't know whether he's going to be in the top 6. I don't know. He could very well be, but I'm just not sure on that one. I think Luke Ryan is definitely. I think the 4 that I've got, Sheasel, Dacos, and Stewart, will be definitely up there. Hayden Young, I don't think will be in the top 6. But I think Whitfield's a chance, and I think Luke Ryan's a chance. I think Luke Ryan might be my last upgrade, or maybe Houston. But we shall see. We'll see how Bailey Dale goes. I could be completely wrong. I could have balls that trade up, and Bailey Dale was the one to get. You throw the Luke Beveridge factor into it. You just don't know what's going on with the Bulldogs. You know, there was a tweet that came out yesterday saying Jack Macrae was the sub, or he's going to be the sub against Hawthorn this week, and you know, there was talk that it was a fake account and all sorts of stuff, but you know, we'll see. We just don't know. Luke Beveridge has made some interesting decisions in the past, let's say. So in terms of a SuperCoach perspective, we just can't trust that at the moment. So I can't pick Bailey Dale at the moment. So I'm going to go with Lachie Whitfield. I've had my eye on Whitfield since the pre-season. He's got years and years of SuperCoach, proven SuperCoach history. They're playing a good brand of footy. It's attacking. He loves attacking off the half-back. He projected to score 111. Yes, he's got a high break even, but again, I'm picking Whitfield because I think he's going to be a keeper in defence. All right, so moving into the midfield, I've gone with Tom Green. He was my upgrade this week. I had a bit of a cash thing, through Jordan Sweet, which I'll explain about in a minute. So talk that Steele's probably got a bit of an injury. probably going to have to hold him. I picked him up at 600 and I should have picked up Steele 2 weeks earlier than what I did, so I'm going to have to hold him now. I can't really do that. That's more of a sideways trade, and it just puts you further and further back from completing your team. And the further back your team is from being full primo, the more ground you lose on the players above you, kind of thing. So, but obviously the flip side of that is you don't want to burn your cash generation either too quickly. So you don't want to upgrade your rookies before you need to. So I've gone with Tom Green. Tom Green at 549,000, I think he is. Almost too good to refuse. I can't refuse that with what he's capable of dishing out. And again, he's becoming very highly owned. So it almost becomes a negative pod now. You need him in your team. So if you don't have him and he fires, you lose points against the people that do have him. But if he doesn't fire, then everyone goes down with the ship, sort of thing. But I think Tom Green is the one to. He's my upgrade there. Walsh has been a bit underwhelming since I've brought him in. Same with Petrarca too, so hopefully they can have a bit more of an impact this round. Roberts I'm very pleased with. He's up to about 400,000 now, so he'll be my last upgrade of my side, I would think. I'm going to keep him as long as I can. Don't know who my 8th midfielder spot's going to be just yet. Tossing up between potentially Zach Merritt and who's the other one? Maybe Sarong. We'll see. Depends on buys. I think Merritt's probably going to get it. Okay, so this is what I've done with the rucks. So I traded out Brodie Grundy for Jordan Sweet. Now, before you start spamming me in the comments, here was my rationale for it. Grundy has been disappointing as R2, as my ruck 2. And Jordan Sweet with a break-even of minus 113 is going to make a lot of money very quickly if he can score consistently. So we got 74 last night against Riley O'Brien. Now, supposedly Riley O'Brien is quite a hard ruckman to play against, supposedly, or score against. So if that's the case and he still gets 74, I'm not too unhappy with that. If he only got 45 or 50, I'd be like, that's it, where's the delete team button? But 74, I'm okay with that. So next week, I don't know who Port have, but if he has a different opponent next week, if it's an easier one, we could expect higher scores. His break-even's still going to be very, very good for us, so he's going to make a lot of money quickly. So I can easily use Jordan Sweet as somewhat of a cash cow, if you like that. So still getting good scores on field with a really good break-even, and then use those weeks to then look at the other ruckmans that I want as my R2. So because Gawn's not going anywhere. So it's either going to be English or Marshall. Now there's doubts on both of them. So this gives me a few more weeks of breathing room, and at least I'm making money and I'm getting some decent scores, fingers crossed, on field. So that's why I did that, and that freed up a lot of money too. So that allowed me to then go for Whitfield, and I traded out Massimo to Tom Green. So I've gone Brown to Whitfield, that's an upgrade. Massimo to Green, that's also an upgrade in my view. And I've gone a downgrade Grundy to Sweet. But you could also think of that as not necessarily such a downgrade, because the benefit of having a player at minus 113 and scoring pretty reasonably, arguably similar to Grundy, but you're just going to make more money from him, is a good thing. Still kept Vicentini. I know a lot of sides have gone Sweet at R3. I wanted to keep a loop because I want to do the captain's loophole this year as well. So otherwise, I'm going to have to keep Newen from North. Now the forward line. This is where I need to. This will be my next port of call. I think I'm going to park my midfield where it is. I'm happy with how that's sitting, and the defence as well. Got to move the forward line. I've got to do some stuff with the forward line. I've got to try and get Garcia and potentially Darcy off the field. So Heaney and Flanders, they're going nowhere. Powell could be a luxury upgrade halfway through the season, after the buys maybe. It just depends on who turns up in the forward line. We just don't have a lot of options at the moment. That's why I'm holding on to Harley Reid. He's still got a minus 30 break even, so he's going to make more money. And he's scoring quite well too. He's got the Bombers in Perth, so that's going to be a good game for Harley Reid, I would think. Darcy's doing well too. Garcia, minus 74 break even. You've got to keep him. Wilson or Garcia on the field, much of a muchness, I guess. They're scoring. Wilson's probably scoring more. We'll see. A bit of a roulette wheel on that one there. So that's kind of how my side's looking for round 8. Now I'm going to put the emergency on North. Who have the Giants got? Geelong's got Melbourne. Might just put it on Clark for the moment. That could change, but that's just who I'm going to put it on. I'll put it on Graham as well. Actually, you might go Howes because Howes is playing against Geelong. Take it off Graham. Graham's the last game of the round. Gold Coast are playing last, so it's at the E off him there. So, round 8 with 9 hours to go until the Carlton-Collingwood game tonight. My team needs 1 defender to upgrade, 1 midfielder, 1 ruckman, and 2 forwards. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and so we've got 5 upgrades to go. All right, 5 upgrades to go by round 8. Not bad. The Roberts Ware could come into it next week. We'll see. Depends on how close he goes. I'll take a closer look as we go through the round. But that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I've had to do some upgrades. I've had to bring in Whitfield and Green to get some on-field, to take these rookies off the field. Not that they're not scoring brilliantly, but just to get them off the field and make the side as primo as I can. And Sweet is a tactical decision. That's all that is. So that's how I'm sitting. Obviously, Newen not picked this week. May have to trade him out next week. Depends on what rookies turn up, of course. There's Harvey Johnston for West Coast, who's debuting this Saturday night. I've got my eyes on him as well. He's a mid-forward. He could be a really good rookie if West Coast see a need for him. He's debuting against the Bombers, and West Coast are in pretty good form, so you'd think that they rate him quite highly, because otherwise why would you bring in a debutant when the team's firing? You know, they've dropped Dom Sheed and brought in a couple of rookies. So they're obviously wanting to play the kids, which is great, so that's good for us too. Supercoach-wise, he could be a very handy rookie. I could replace Newen with Harvey Johnston, could get some good money, and then who knows, he could be an on-field option. You just don't know. The forward line needs work, so I think I will be getting Jack McRae next week. If he is not the sub this week, I'll be getting him next week. I think I need him to solidify at least this spot here. Yeah. I don't think he's going to rise too much because his break-even will be reasonably high, but we shall see. So at round 8, projected to get that score. Pretty happy with that. If I get that, that will shoot me back up the ranks. I'll be on the better trajectory. I've got a bit of money left in the bank, which is very, very handy. 24 trades left. All right, so I've used mostly all my boosts to get me to this point where I need 1 defender upgraded, 1 midfielder, that's 2 upgrades, 1 ruck, that's 3, and essentially 2 there, so 5. So 5 in total. Not too unhappy with that. If it was looking like 7 or 8 needed at this point, I'd be a little bit concerned. But, you know, these things happen. All things happen through Supercoach, injuries and all that kind of thing. All right, so that's where I'm sitting. Vice captain options. I've gone Nick Dacos for tonight against Carlton, and I've gone Max Gawn tomorrow night against Geelong. So if Dacos scores over 120 tonight, I'm going to take that as the VC. I'm going to throw Vicentini on the field into that spot, put him as captain, and throw Max Gawn onto the bench with the E. Make sure you got the E on there. Yeah, that's if Nick Dacos goes well tonight. If he doesn't, then I'll put the captaincy on Gawn. There's a few other options I've got too. We've got Steele versus North. You've got Bontempelli as well as a good captain option. Petrarca against Geelong could be good. Can't go Walsh if I've gone Dacos. Heaney versus GWS, potentially. I could do something ridiculous like put the captaincy on Powell or something against St Kilda, but I won't. But that's just the options I've got there. And then got Sheasel as well. He's probably another captain's option. That's how I'm looking for round 8. Make sure, let me know in the comment section how you're going, how many more upgrades you need to do, and I'll talk to you at the end of round 8.